Hi again, everybody. Welcome back to the final section of my Sphere of Innocence lesson. Today I'm just going to cover the solo, which is not as bad as the other video with all the verses. To be honest, I didn't expect that video to be like a half-hour long. As I was doing it, it just kind of flew right by. I think in the future I'm going to sort of do shorter videos. And at least, I don't know if you can tell, but I'm kind of winging it. I don't have any direction really in front of me of what I'm going to do. But I think I'm going to start trying to do that a little bit just so I can make the videos at least shorter and more compact. So not only is it easier to digest when you're watching it, but also I won't have all these issues exporting the video. I spent probably 13, 14 hours exporting the last video and it crashing, and then re-exporting it again. It was quite a headache. So I had my fingers crossed that the video actually exported, and also it didn't come out 100% as I wanted it to, because my computer is not very good. It's got an old video card, so it's not good for all this kind of video rendering and stuff. So in the future I'm going to keep it shorter, and also with that, I think the next 3 songs that I'm going to do are also going to be relatively short. They're going to be songs where it's basically one chord progression throughout the whole song, then it gets repeated until the song's finale. So I already know what I'm going to do in the future. I got some suggestions from some people over at the Unreal Allan Holdsworth Facebook group. And if you're not a member of it, I strongly suggest it, because I decided to transcribe this whole song in 4th tuning, in standard tuning really, which I'll just be giving away on there. I'm not going to upload it here on Facebook, but I'm going to upload it on that forum page. So, well, it's not a forum, but Facebook group. So at least it'll be in the files section. So if you want to try this in standard tuning, I did my best transcribing it to what I think is the most playable. Some of the things I had to rework a little bit, but for the most part it's all kind of there. It's actually in C standard, but if you want to play it in E standard you can. It's just not going to have the same exact pitch. So anyway, enough chit chat. I'm going to start this solo section now and talk about it a little bit. The solo section of this song really takes a lot of different parts of what we've seen before and kind of spices it up a little bit. Allan, in transcribing all these different songs, I can sort of see how Allan writes. A lot of times the solo section is not anything that's in the rest of the song, or sometimes the solo section are the changes that were in the head, which is actually more uncommon. And then in songs like this, it's the same ideas that have already come out through the song, but they're transposed differently, or the parts are broken up in different ways, and just sort of played with, and it might only be unique to the solo section, which is usually not that hard to transcribe because you already have a template to go with. It's much harder for tunes, let's say for like Letters of Marque, that I did, where the solo section has nothing to do with the rest of the song, the intro and the outro. It's completely unique to it. Alright, so remember, we're in 5th tuning here, so I'm going to be showing all the charts and chords in standard notation, but also be commenting about how the interval structure is of how it's built. So the first chord, and now I got my little cheat sheet here, this time I made sure that it was correct. The first chord of the solo section for the first 4 measures really goes between these 2 chords. It's a B flat major 13, and then a B flat 6 sus 2. You have a 1, your 6, your 3rd, and your major 7 here. And then for this chord shape, this is all 5ths. You got 1, 5, your 9, and your sus 2 if you want, and your 6. So the beginning part of it starts out like this. And then from there it goes to an F major 13 chord. Same interval shape as the first chord of the solo. Then it goes to an F sharp major 7 chord. So the beginning's got like this. chord, you got a weirdo kind of chord here. It's an E flat minor major 7, sharp 11. And that's built, if you, once again, you're considering the lowest note of all these chords, the root. 1, 5, your minor third, and your major 7, sorry, and then your sharp 11's on top. And then from there, it goes into the intro part. There's sort of a little variation of the intro section that we talked about. So it goes from this E7 sus4 to E minor 7 variation. Then it goes to A7 sus4 and A minor 7. Then F major 7, add sharp 11 to F major 7. And then from there, it now goes to what I called in the first video the verse variation. But this time it's a minor third down, or 3 frets down. So instead of starting on C, it starts on A. So it's A sus2 to A major to F sharp 7 sus2, G major 7 sus2, and then E flat major 7 sus2. And then from there it goes to a D minor 11, and then an F sharp major 7, add sharp 11. And then you take the major 7 off and then you add the 6. So this becomes an F sharp 6, add sharp 11. So that whole part is exactly like the verse variation, but a minor third down. And then from here, it continues with the same chords, but in typical Allan fashion, it doesn't follow the exact same progression. That now modulates up to here, which is a half step higher than the verse variation. So then you have a B flat minor to a flat 6, and then a G minor, add 9. This is the same thing as this chord, but now instead of adding the minor 9 like that, you're now utilizing the open. Allan is using the open string for that minor 9. And then from there, it now goes to another sort of verse variation, but now we're starting on D for 7 beats, and then it goes to G. And then that modulates a whole step up from the beginning. So then it goes, instead of to B flat, it goes to B major 13, B6 sus2, F sharp major 13. So that's the whole first few chords of the solo now modulated a half step up. So this part almost repeats the same way as the whole solo, but once again, Allan, loving his modulation and sort of little tricks of modulating things without sound like it's modulating, modulates this part a little bit different. So we've got the B major 13, now instead of going up a half step like he did earlier, he now goes to A major 7, and then a G minor major 7, sharp 11. And then from there goes to the intro part again, but now we're starting in on A flat or G sharp. So it's G sharp 7 sus4 to G sharp minor 7. Then to C sharp 7 sus4 to C sharp minor 7. Then that repeats. That's the entire solo section. So I'll play that again. and that's the whole repeat. The only difference is at the very, very end of everyone's solo before it transitions to out of the solo. I forgot what I had called it. It starts off the same with the same ending, but then instead of cutting off the C sharp 7 sus 4 part a little earlier, it plays it for twice as long. And then it plays at A major 7, add sharp 11 to A major 7. And then it goes into the next part. And on and on. So that's the whole solo section. It's just a bunch of different weird transposing of parts that we've already seen before, except for like the very beginnings of the solo. This is a very typical Allan thing when you saw in this whole solo, taking parts of earlier parts of the song and just moving them around in different ways, but it's still feeling natural, which is what's really fascinating and interesting, and sort of the beauty of it, because it doesn't sound like it's doing all these things, or doesn't sound like it's modulating. And I know that's one of the things that he really enjoyed doing in his songs. So that's it for the solo. I think with the shorter songs, I'm gonna try to do them maybe once a week. So maybe I'll be able to do that song, the next song I have in mind next week, and then have one for the next 3 weeks, if that's not too annoying, I hope. So that's it. Thanks for watching the video. Thanks for all the comments, all the likes, and the love. Like I said, I'll say it 1,000 times. I really appreciate it. It makes me feel pretty good that I didn't waste my time on this instrument. But anyway, thank you so much, and I'll see you later.